Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Yachts here, and it is Friday, and we have just finished a back-to-back with New York and Cleveland, and we lost the Cleveland game also, but it was close, and we gave them a good fight for all four quarters. Darko after the game saying that there was a little bit of a time where there was a letdown with them, and that really hurt them late in the game, but overall the Raptors played really well matching up with the best team in the league with the best record in the league. We had our opportunities to win, of course, but we have to understand that winning at the end of the game takes a lot of energy and know-how in certain ways. And our team is just not at that level yet. It's just what it is. But I'm very proud of them. I've spoken about in the last couple days about progress, showing progress. May not be the result that we want, but the progress was shown from the game before, 2 games before against Milwaukee, to New York, to Cleveland. Darko's saying after the game last night that he feels like there was a stint in the schedule recently where the players have not given full effort and been top notch, but he feels like they're coming back around and giving it correctly now. So, and I think you could see what he's saying last night as far as like to be able to run with the Cavs and keep up with them and pretty much like go back and forth and really threaten to win the game by the end of the game. That's an accomplishment in itself in some ways. That team had won 11 games in a row, and they beaten Oklahoma City Thunder the night before they beat us. And that's a really good team, Cleveland. So I think that once again, you got to take things for, what they are, good and bad both ways. Sure, it's bad that they lost the game. Okay, you can get upset about that, but what's the point? We're losing a lot this year. You could look at it and say, well, it's good that they actually competed with one of the best teams in the league. And that kind of shows that if they get their shit together, they progress as individuals, they progress as a unit, that they do have a higher ceiling, that they do have a better ability to win games down the road as they get more gelled and understand each other better. Yeah. Yeah, I love what Darko said last night in the post-game interview. He said that he believes that Scotty one day will be averaging a triple-double. That's amazing. He started with just saying he's going to average a double-double, but then he said, no, in a few years, he's going to average a triple-double. I mean, he could be right. Scotty does have that kind of assist and rebounding. It's just, Scotty, once again, showing that he can take over and try and do takeover stuff, like doing a lot of those mid-range turnarounds. And boy, do they look good. Boy, do they just go right through the net, don't they? And I wish that he would take over a little bit more still. It's like we're getting a dose of it, but maybe the dose isn't the high enough dosage. Scotty, we need more of this, man. Like, seriously, basketball, Scott, is won when you score more than the other team. I hope you know that. And in some ways, basketball players are innately selfish in certain ways because in some ways they want to go get theirs and put the ball in the hoop. And that when you compete with another team, the selfishness is, I want to go and score more than you. And I just wonder sometimes about your so generous and such a teammate kind of teammate that sometimes you need to be greedy, man. I'm serious. Like, I really want you to be greedy, Scott, and just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to be that guy for a few trips down the court, everybody, and just let me go to work. And maybe I can gobble up this lead that the other team has, or maybe I can increase the lead that we already have and put us a little bit further ahead. That's what I want to see. That's the next evolution for Scott. Is like the action is there, but it's not going fully through successfully. But he's practicing it, and it's getting better, and it's going to be coming. It's going to be coming. There's going to be some period of time where all of a sudden we see something where Scotty's able to score in successive trips very successfully, or just in general, he finds a way over the 48 minutes of the game to increase his scoring volume and making more shots. Because at certain points in the game, Scott just kind of doesn't get aggressive to get the ball and try and score himself. He really just kind of floats around, watches everybody. Now, I noticed in one of the games in the last 2 days, I think it was last night, that Scotty was standing on the court and Jakob was coming back in. And Scotty just assumed that Yak was coming in for him, but he wasn't. He was coming in for Chris Boucher. And Scotty was tired. And that was something that was evident in that moment because he was so tired. He was thinking that Jakob was coming to get him, but he wasn't. And Darko left him in and made him play some more. Yeah, I think that Scott does get fatigued still. I think that Scott runs up and down the court so wildly all over the place. Not wildly, but very focused and trying to exert the energy on the court to make winning plays happen for the Raptors that he does get tired. And that's part of it. That, there's different levels. When his rookie year, he found out, to play a certain level of defense, I'm going to have to get this certain amount of stamina. And, he's finding that there's levels and levels and levels and levels and levels to stamina in the NBA. And that one of them is that to have the stamina to be a carrier, a number one player in the league, a guy who's going to take over and just do stuff, you really have to have top-notch conditioning. And there may be more levels he needs to try and strive to get to be able to allow his body to perform at that optimal level for the 48 minutes. His old friend Siakam used to say, I can't afford to be tired, because he couldn't. And the way he trained with Rico Hines and off the season and all the different things that Pascal did, those are lessons there for Scott in some ways. You could be more like Siakam and just be tireless, just be insanely in shape where you just can go and never afford to be tired. I don't know. I know there is only one Siakam, but I'm just saying that's what we're talking about right here. Scotty can play a certain level of energy and stuff, but there's always a little bit of a fade in the background kind of little part where he's like Homer going in the hedge just for a little while. Those moments have shortened. They're not as like 2 quarters of the game like they were when he was younger. They're a lot shorter parts of the game, but they're still happening. They're still happening. It's too bad because honestly, the potential is there. I hope Scotty sees it. I hope the gumption is there, and I hope someday he fulfills it. I think he will. All the signs show that he is building towards this and that he will be successful in the long run. We just got to go through the growing pains with him as we watch, In some cases, if he had a veteran team around him still, like he did when in his younger years, that the learning process of this wouldn't be so leaned on so importantly, that it wouldn't be so paramount and right in our faces of whether he fails or wins. And that's something we have to remember too, that we're kind of playing without a net because we're so young. We're so young. And that's part of it right there. All right, let's see what y'all are saying. We're going to do the stars of the day, the classic card, and the Instagram stories, all the stuff. And I had a problem with my birthday list. I have to tell you guys, I've been doing my birthdays all incorrectly this week, because I have my birthday list on a Google Calendar sheet, but they changed the year, right? The January 2025, but the names didn't change with the numbers on the calendar. They just kept them in the same spot. So all my birthdays were 2 days early this week. Stupid. Yesterday was Muggsy's birthday. I celebrated Muggsy's birthday on Tuesday. Why? So happy birthday, Tremont Waters, today, the pride of Puerto Rico. We celebrate his birthday on Wednesday, but his birthday is actually today, and Chris's birthday is actually tomorrow. I was very confused. It's the stupid Google calendars, just not really intuitive and doing things the way you'd think they would from year to year. I guess I'm just going to have to realize, or might write my own list that doesn't have to do with that stupid app that messed me up. But I adjusted it all, and I'll have my birthdays correctly for the rest of the year now. I fixed the whole 12 months already. So, yeah, that was just a stupid thing from earlier this week. All right, let's see what's going on. Trevor J saying, the only keeper of your happiness is you. Stop giving people power to control your smile, your worth, and your attitude. That's right. That's right. I mean, it's very important to have your own self-esteem that is not based off of others' opinion of you, whether they're close to you, like a loved one or a spouse, or just people in general. You need to have that sort of autonomy for yourself to have self-love and a healthy self-image without it being based on what anybody else thinks. That is freedom. And that's the thing. Some people will try and con you or gaslight you or manipulate you into thinking that what they think of you is the most important thing in the world, and you'll do crazy ass shit for that person just because of that. So realize this: your self worth has nothing to do tied up with somebody else's opinion of you. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter who they are. It could be a family member. It could be one of your parents. It could be anybody. It could be a friend that you've had for years and years and years. It doesn't matter who it is. There you go, Trevor J. Thank you for your words of wisdom this morning, Commissioner Fun, Trevor J. That's right. That's my guy. That's right. Trevor's saying, love how hard we play, but in the end, with more experience, closed us out to win. Can't wait to see some wins. Yeah, I think that we could all use another win again. It was so nice. I thought it was going to happen last night, Trevor. I'm not going to lie, actually. There was something weird about the game where it's like, yeah, a lot of things are going the Raptors' way. The Cavs are not totally sharp. And, we're hanging with them, and we're hanging with them late. But, it's really, really tough. Like, in the last 5 minutes of the game, that's when things are really happening to try and close the game out. And if your team just isn't practiced or versed enough in that kind of situation, they will flounder. And unfortunately, I kind of saw what was going to happen through the middle of the game. Even though the Raptors were keeping a nice, healthy cushion and winning most of the game, that it's like they got really going to have to weather a storm late in the game. And it was Garland. Garland was very key to the Cavs winning last night with very big shots near the end of the game that separated them from us in the last 2 minutes. And, we want to have a guy on our side that makes big shots like that and separates us from them. But that was not the case that happened. And Darius Garland won the game for the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. Yeah, it's a learning process, progress. We're getting there. It's never going to be perfection. Progress, keep going. Get as perfect as you can. And I thought that the Raptors played pretty good overall last night as far as their perfect record, as far as perfection. They weren't perfect, obviously, but it wasn't like they were below 50% perfect. It was more than 50% perfect. I would say it's more than 75% perfect. Maybe 80% perfect for the game. If they played 20% perfect more, maybe they beat the Cavs. There's a lot that goes into it. Like they said on the broadcast last night, the Hawks are the only team that came into Cleveland and beat the Cavs on their home court this season. This whole entire season. They lost once at home, and it was to Atlanta. And that's it. Yeah. Yeah, Trevor's saying, Chris, that man gives 100% all the time. He's on the floor, played hard. Yeah, in fact, he's going to be my star of the game for last night. Chris Boucher, #1 star of the game. Chris, whatever's going on with him this week on his birthday week, keep going, my guy. You're amazing. You only got that 4 minutes the other night and went crazy and got all those points in New York. And then last night, Darko was smart and put him in. He put Davion in too early. And that had an effect of winning, honestly. Those guys are actually really big key players off the bench for the Raptors. If we're at our top selves, they are coming off the bench first. I'm telling you. Because Chris came in and he didn't miss a beat. He was so crazy in the zone, making threes. The other thing I love about Chris right now is that he's rebounding like the legend Dennis Rodman. He really has a ball tracking sense right now, and you see it in the way he's going and getting them. In some ways, it's just gumption. You want to have to get the ball more than the other people that are around you, and that's what he's doing. He just wants it more. And he has the long arms and the quickness to go get it before other people do. And that's part of the secrets of his success with his rebounding. But Chris is a big Dennis Rodman fan. I know this. He's posted him on Instagram many, many times. And I know that Chris has probably studied Dennis and the way Dennis tracks rebounds, the way that Dennis grabs the rebounds down with defenders or people around him that may be physical around him, and how to get them, even though you might be getting hit or physically bodied, and using a really long length and somewhat underlying strength that Chris has built in his frame on the down low over the last few years. Yeah, no, he's amazing. He is so on fire. This life is on fire right now. He's amazing. 27 minutes for Chris. He was 9 of 14 from the field. Very high volume for Chris. He was very much one of our main scorers last night. 5 of 8 from 3. Yeah, he was scorching from 3. And it's crazy because the trebuchet is totally in effect as far as it looks like a freaking catapult. And his shot has such a nice arc to it. He has a really more like Big Chief Robert Parrish, Boston Celtics, old school high arc, because it really goes up and over. And that's an interesting evolution from when you think about Chris 5 years ago when he used to shoot his threes. He shot very Bill Laimbeer like, and it was very like flip shot where he's just flipping it over his head. And he did have a lot of arc on his three then. And he'd hit the front of the rim a lot. And he'd also kind of not hit it at the right angle. Well, he's lofted up his arc and greatly improved his three-point shot in the last 4 or 5 years, guys, if you think about it. And the crazy thing is now Chris has gotten to a quick release and he's so confident with him. It's just like if he sees it, he squares. He has the right distance detector that is going swish, even though it's really quick release. And sometimes he's off balance too. Like he's been leaning back when he shoots these threes also. And he's very, very accurate right now. He's just feeling it. He's just in the zone. Sometimes players have described this feeling as the rim is just so big he can't miss. He may be feeling like that right now, where the basketball rim just looks so big and wide and vast. So it's just like throwing a rock in the ocean, his three-point shooting right now. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm so proud of him, man. The great thing about Chris is that, his career has been weird and stuff, but he is the ultimate professional, and he really, truly has striven to be a better and better NBA player every year and every single time. And he said in his interview last night after the game that he just wants to become more and more efficient. And he is, man. He is so efficient right now. Holy crap, he's efficient. 3 offensive rebounds, 12 rebounds altogether. That's right. He got a double-double last night. 1 steal, 1 block, a plus 10 with 23 points in 27 minutes. The points per minute's really close still again. 23 points, 27 minutes. I'm just astounded with you, Chris. I mean, listen, you're a great role model for the rest of the team right now in all kinds of different ways. And I'm just proud of you, Chris, man. You have a Raptors pride that I appreciate, man. And seeing you fired up with Scotty at different times of the game, I know your friendship's strong. And yeah, man, I'm just so happy that you're still around and we're still enjoying some of the things that you've done for many years, but at a very excellent level. So Chris Boucher, first star of the game for sure, by far, Chris Boucher. Second star of the game, we'll give it to Scotty. Yeah, Scotty was really good last night. In some ways, Scotty was mostly very, very good all around. He got a double-double also. 11 for 20 for Scotty Barnes. Fine shooting, over 50%. He missed both his 2 threes, but he didn't take but 2. 2 for 4 at the free throw line, annoying. 10 rebounds, 8 assists, so he's just 2 assists shy of a triple-double. 3 steals, 3 turnovers, -7 with 24 points in 36 minutes. The stuff earlier, Scotty kind of eased into the game, but then he'd come and take his little turnaround shots and his easier high percentage shots he's been taking lately. Later in the game, he started getting in down low and really attacking close to the rim and slamming it on people. They were looking for mouse in the house and mismatches with switches. And Scotty got a lot of dunks in the paint near the end of the game, like in the second half. So, yeah, Scotty was great. But this is the thing. I'm going to say 24 is not enough, Scott. You need to start really thinking about the points you're scoring total in the game. Your career total high is not that high at like 34 or 35. You need to try and go for a 40-point game. Seriously, man. This is what you need to start thinking about, is challenging yourself with making your career high higher than 34. You seriously, the players do this. They go into the game thinking, I'm going to drop a 50 piece. And they just go out there and try to do that. You need to have the gumption and the foresight to want to go and score 40 points, Scotty. And I'm telling you right now, if you drop the 40 bag, you would make a huge case for All-Star that you need to start making in some ways if you want to have a chance to be at the All-Star game this year. Because I'm telling you right now, you were a replacement last year, and our record was better last year. There's no way they're going to consider you until you start showing amazing things just individually, because the team stuff is not going to help you at all. So you may need to really consider dropping a 40 piece. Seriously, my guy. Stop messing around with your life and go do it, because I know you can. In some ways, we need you to just go aggressively all out and try and score as much as possible just to see the ceiling of it. Because I think you're just not even scratching the surface as far as how you could dominate a game and score throughout the game if you really, really focused and did this. What I'm saying right now, you have the capability. Go ahead and fulfill it. Give us a present. Raptors fans want a present, Scott, and a 40 piece by you would be a present. The third star is a guy who bounced back from being one of the worst players on the floor the night before in New York, and he was one of the best players on the court last night. That's Jamal Shead. Yeah, two guys pissed me off in New York. One of them, the DMP'd last night. In some ways, I was happy about that because we didn't have to watch him. Who knows? Maybe we would have lost by more if Bruce Brown had played last night. But Shead, he had a bad game in New York, but he bounced back last night, and he played an excellent game in Cleveland. 15 minutes for Shead. Not like out there for a whole lot of time, but he got 15 points. Look at that. 15 minutes, 15 points. Right even with the points per minute stuff last night. That's fantastic, Shed. In fact, Darko said Shed made some points for us last night. That's great. He likes that. He wants Jamal to not be a cardio merchant and to get some hoops in there. And the way Jamal did it, he mixed it up. He was very good from three right away. He made 2 threes first. And then he started going and attacking the basket, sometimes on the baseline, sneaking in there and making little floaters off the glass. Very, very high difficulty floaters that in traffic with tall Cavaliers players in the vicinity, but very successful at timing and savvy about when to go and giving himself enough space to finish and complete the shots. Very, very smart play by Jamal last night. He mixed it up exactly right. If he couldn't make any decisions right in New York and he fumbled the ball and turned the ball over and missed all his shots, he made all of his shots and made the right decisions in Cleveland. And I appreciate him for it. I appreciate the bounce back, Jamal. 6 of 7 from the field, 3 of 3 from three. You got to love that. He was stepping into those threes confidently. And honestly, if he's going to have a future in the NBA, he needs to be like this because we need this so badly. We need all the help we can get in three-point shooting. And Jamal Shead could be one of the help that if he's really going to start doing this like regularly, 3 for 3. 3 assists, 1 turnover, a 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio, +4 with 15 points in 15 minutes. Yeah, Jamal, thanks for the bounce back. And, playing like that justifies you playing over Davion. But, yeah, not much more because Davion Mitchell, he is awesome. And I love watching him play. And he is definitely a factor on the court whenever he's out there. And there is no questioning whether Davion Mitchell has got that dog in him and he's fighting and he is playing all out all the time when he's on the court. He is. It's just a given. In some ways, that's why him and Chris are kind of getting identified together, is because they're both like that. They just put it all out there. And there's no questioning whether they are not trying hard enough out there. They are, both of them, every single time they take the court. There's no questioning Davion Mitchell's fight and effort and defensive tenacity of just hounding the hell out of everybody and running around everywhere and never, ever, 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 ever slowing down. And I appreciate him for that. I'll give him an honorable mention just for that. Yeah, so there's my 3 stars. Chris, Scotty, and Jamal. 3 stars a game last night. That's right. Let's go. Naco the Nacho. Good morning, Gerald. I listened to the first half on the road with the radio. Exciting game. And Darius played real good. So I don't feel bad. Boucher has to be the most disrespected player on the team. Who's disrespecting him, though? What do you mean? He's not disrespected. They love him. His coach loves him. He's not disrespected. You know who's the most disrespected player on the team is RJ Barrett. Yeah. He's disrespected by the referees. He's kind of telling them, too, last night. That was awesome. RJ got a tech at one point, Simone Jelks. kind of asking, whoa. He's like, listen, you don't see them hitting me? Is there some sort of rule that RJ Barrett's invisible? Is he on Shaq rules? Because it seems like RJ's on Shaq rules. You know what Shaq rules are, right? Shaq rules are you're allowed to hack the shit out of Shaq as much as you want because he's a big, strong guy and he won't flinch. That's the way they played with Shaq. Shaq can tell you. He'll be in an interview about his career. He's like, yeah, every time I go to the basket, they're hitting me and fouling me, but they don't call anything because I'm too strong and they can't see it. They're doing that shit to RJ. RJ's 6'7", right? He's a strong guy. He's very strong. He gets strong finish through strong. Well, they're letting Shaq rules happen to him where people can hit the hell out of him. It doesn't matter. They're not going to call anything because RJ's strong like Shaq is. That's disrespect, Nako. That's what I say is disrespect right there. And they just couldn't put that man on the line at all. Darko said one of the reasons why we lost last night is because the free throw discrepancy. He straight up said it. I'm going to go look at it right now. I mean, it's not horrible, but it is enough of the margin, right? You know, they got 25 free throws and we only got 13. So they doubled up us on 3 free throw attempts. And honestly, Darko was getting pissed at the refs. He's going off on them. He's having discussions with Josh Tiven and them, trying to say, look, you need to help us or like look out for us at the other end. You're calling stuff for them, but you don't call shit for us. He's out there fighting for our guys, politicking with the referees to get more foul calls. And RJ was definitely involved in that too last night. You know, Scotty's going to cry out. You know, someplace Scotty cries out. They don't do anything and they ignore him. But then also there's times where Scotty is getting some respect and calls and getting to the line also. But it's still not enough. It's still very much metered out in the way that the NBA wants to, in some ways on the down low, manipulate the outcome of the game. And the Raptors having almost half the free throw attempts as the Cleveland Cavaliers in a game where they lost by 7. Well, it's not like the Raptors shot amazingly good from free throw either. They were horrible at the free throw line. 6 of 13 free throw line. They missed more free throws than they made last night. That is awful. That is not professional. And you're not going to win that way. In fact, if we think about it, well, they missed 7 free throws and they lost by 7. If they were 100% at the free throw line, we would have been tied in overtime. So, yeah, free throws are still a problem, Raptors. Be more professional, make them. Jakob, you showed your old self last night. Jakob Poeltl, horrible at the free throw line last night. He's a big reason why we shot 46% at the free throw line last night. And that's, I got to give him a little bit of credit. He's been so good for most of this past year or so. He had a fall off, a drop back to the way he used to shoot free throws. And it screwed us up in some ways, sure. But that's what I'm saying. RJ deserves at least 5 free throws every game. And where is RJ? Where is RJ with the free throws? How many free throws did they allow RJ Barrett to shoot last night? 3. So he got 3 times at the free throw line. 3 free throws. Yeah, that's just not good enough. Are there Cavs on the other side that got way more free throws than him? Then I'm just like, why? Why? I mean, Ty Jerome with 4 free throws himself, 9 for Garland, 4 for Allen, 6 for Mobley. Those guys all got more free throws than RJ. RJ's going to the basket. RJ's going to the basket, refs. RJ's taking contact. RJ's getting hit. And y'all are ignoring the shit out of it like it's Shaq rules. Yeah, I see it. RJ's definitely telling y'all, letting y'all know that you're teching him up for it. You know? Oh, that's disrespect, Nako. The way the referees have treated RJ Barrett this whole entire year is disrespectful. That's what disrespect is right there. That's right. Kaz saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak crew. Tough loss last night, but I'm glad we finally showed some fight. Yeah, I feel like the fight has been building the last couple games, and it was a lot more a greater intensity to compete with the best team in the league record-wise. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you heard Matt Bonner before the game last night. I think that Cleveland will beat Boston right now. If they played in the playoffs, it's going to be Cleveland in the finals, not Boston good in there. I love you, Matt Bonner, for saying that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Go on and speak what you're saying. That's great. I don't want Boston to repeat. No, fuck that. That's one of the last things I want to happen this year. No, I don't want that to happen. No, but the fight has been good. Yeah, the compete has been good. You guys feel a little bit better because you saw just how much we could handle that team and play eye to eye with them to a degree. And it's just in closing time. We're not closing it out exactly right. Those are later lessons coming up in the next couple levels of learning for a rebuilding team. And they will get it. They will get it. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be okay, guys. All right, let's do the Instagram stories since Trevor has given me a cue for that right here. Let's see. First, we got Toronto Tempo president Teresa Resch celebrating the Sephora connection with the connection there. They just teamed up with Canada's first WNBA team, Sephora. That's right. And there she is. She's on TV this morning, I guess, or yesterday. It looks like she's on some sort of TV show. Also, the Toronto Tempo have released a statement that they send their support to the communities affected by the wildfires in California. Our hearts are with the greater Los Angeles community, the LA Sparks, the families, the first responders, and all those impacted by this crisis. To support recovery efforts, we encourage donations to the American Red Cross at redcross.org. Yeah. This is a crazy, seriously awful thing. There's a lot of people losing their houses, thousands and thousands of houses gone, multi-million-dollar houses, like very rich, famous people's houses. Very crazy. Very, very crazy. I think I saw something that said that JJ Redick lost his house. I think I saw something that said that Steve Kerr's parents lost their house or something like that. I don't know. Somebody was saying that. Trevor was saying that yesterday, I think. Yeah, a lot of celebrities losing their house. James Woods, John Goodman. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, this is why, trees are important, and to an extent, you want really good, healthy trees because they will help you with this kind of stuff. I don't know, man. In some ways, this sucks. I hate this. I hate this story. I'm trying not to go on the depressing stuff on the channel anymore. I'm trying to keep upbeat overall in some ways. Chris Boucher has posted something on his Instagram saying that he has tied Vince Carter for 13 most double-doubles in Toronto Raptors history with 39 double-doubles. So Chris has the same amount of double-doubles as Air Canada right now. 39 double-doubles. Man, see, that's the thing. That's the thing that pisses me off. Vince, you should have way more double-doubles for the Raptors in your Raptors career here, but you didn't try for part of it. And that's probably why you missed out on some. Well, yeah, good job for you, Chris. Now go ahead and pass him in the next game that you play. Next couple games, some games soon. Get that double-double again with the double digits and rebounds. I'm all about that. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like that. All right, let's see what else. Chris is celebrating Scottie Barnes' achievement last night. Scottie Barnes scored his 4,000th career point last night. That's fantastic. He's halfway through his fourth season in the league, and he's got 4,000 points in this league. That's fantastic. Really, really good accomplishment. And what did he say on there? It's like Scottie, he said, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Special is what Chris is saying about Scottie Barnes. Special. Matt Devlin's got the TikTok dance on there, and Jack is opposite direction, not doing it right. The DJ's laughing at the Raptors announcers because they're getting down before the game in Cleveland. And there's Alvin and Matt before the game last night. Of course, they're out on the court doing their pregame, and the marching band comes out. This was an issue like a year or so ago, and that's what they alluded to in the broadcast before the game. That last year they were on the court about to do their pregame announce, and a band came out and bumped Alvin, bumped him out of the way. It was like a tuba player or something like that. Came out and kind of side checked him in the middle of him being on live TV, which was hilarious. And that's why they were a little skittish at the beginning of the game last night, because they've had some issues with bands being on the court while they are trying to do their pregame stuff. I love Alvin's professor look this year. Like, he's got a gray beard and he's got these glasses he's wearing more and more now. And he's such a professor, In some ways, I want to call you the professor now, Alvin Williams, the professor. There's great announcers that have been kind of the professor of the telecast, the whatchamacallit, teleprompter or whatever. That was Mike Fratello or something like that. He wasn't the czar. He was the czar or something like that. They called him that or something. I don't know. There's a Tempo with the same announcement Teresa Resch had about the wildfires. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wants everybody to vote Jalen Williams for All-Star, his teammate. Davion Mitchell coming in the game with his silent bag in New York on his pictures. And there's a play against Orlando where he's hitting a corner three. There's the on the court in the Raptors purple against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. And there he is doing dribbling drills before the game in Cleveland last night. Yeah. Davion, I'm really happy you got to play in the game again. I think you and Chris are winning players. And if we don't see them in the game, that may be a nod that the Raptors aren't trying to win exactly, is what I'm going to say. Chris and Davion are not playing as much in the second half of the season. It's partly because they have a winning effect. Let's just say that. All right, guys? Yeah. So, lots of highlights from the game last night on the Raptors official. Lloyd, what about Lloyd? Is got a Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation donation button up, so you can donate to help the cause of the wildfires out there. And he's got Jay Nathan on blast from him playing in games against the Knicks. So he's putting his friend Jonathan on blast there. And there's Jonathan with his own. He's playing LL Cool J on his Instagram stories right now. Jacoby Walter in a thrift shop with Davion Mitchell. And they're wearing knit hats. And Davion's got a super bad shirt on with McLovin. These guys are cool. And Davion's also wearing like a little animal hat with ears on it. Yeah, they're at a vintage shop or some sort of like clothes shop. And they're very happy, smiley. Wubbs is having a good time. Even if they're losing a lot, he's enjoying being an NBA player and living that life. And he's seeing great results. And I can tell he's not one to be corrupted. He is somebody who's on the up and up, and he's going to do things right his whole career. I'm telling you right now, Jacoby Walter has got a good foundation in his life, and he's the right kind of kid to have on your team. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, there's the Raptors 905 celebrating Eugene Omoruyi for getting his 10-day. In some ways they're saying that Eugene may not come up and play for the Raptors, that this 10-day contract is actually a financial reward to get him more money this season. More than it is actually a chance for him to play for the Raptors. That they feel like he's done so well and he's underpaid on his G League salary that they wanted to boost his salary a bit to give him a 10-day. And that's part of what's going on here. And it did increase his value and he made way more money because of this 10-day for this season, just so y'all know. So I don't know. I hope he does show up, but there's no telling. He could end up being like a Winslow from last year. They released the brand new Chinese New Year jersey for the 905 that they'll be wearing soon. And I got to say, it's nothing like the one last year. In some ways, I'm disappointed, but in some ways, I got to let this one grow on me because the last year, the one with the Chinese dragon was just awesome. Just so like colorful and artistically just pleasing with the black and the orange and the red. This one has like a weird purple kind of to it instead of black. It's got the orange and the red still because those are the Chinese New Year's colors. But it's like got a purplish hue to the background, and it's the lanterns this time. They're doing Chinese lanterns as the theme for the jerseys. I don't know. It'll grow on me maybe. We have to see them on the actual players and what they look like. But yeah, I commend 905 once again for having really cool, interesting specialty jerseys during their season. The designers who make these jerseys are top notch, and it says something that our G League team has top notch jersey designers. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the other ones y'all are going to have because I know y'all come out with like 3 a year. You guys have like a three specialty jerseys every year. Well, we got the Chinese New Year one yesterday. And I mean, I mixed reviews. It's not as good as the one last year is what I'll say. But I don't know. It may be really like, I can't tell from the graphics without seeing it on a player on the court, the way that color hits overall. It's like a weird purple. It's a very dark purple. It's kind of like our 30th anniversary purple. So I don't know. I'll have to see how it looks on the players before my final judgment of these jerseys. In some ways, I don't like them as much as the ones last year. That's for sure. I know that. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Limited pre-sale bundle. You can get that jersey early, pre-order, and tickets to the 905 game on January 29th against the Birmingham Squadron. That's going to be Asian Heritage Night at the 905 Paramount Fine Food Center, and they'll have those jerseys on that night for sure. There you go. Eugene Omoruyi celebrating his 10-day contract. Thank you to the man above. is what he's saying. Thank you to the man above. There's your Instagram story. It's a little going through a meandering there. Yeah, the new 905 Chinese New Year jerseys. Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, Nako's got my scout of the day. Look at this. Nako's on top of the scout of the day and kind of jumping in there and getting. All right, the name is Jeremiah Fears. Let's see what this is all about. All right, let me go look up Jeremiah Fears. I have no idea who this person is. I've never heard their name even until just now. I don't know. Jeremiah Fears. Let's see. Does he have a Wikipedia? Okay, he doesn't have a Wikipedia. That can actually be a sign that that's a problem. But yeah, who is Jeremiah Fears? Let me see. What is this? Jeremiah Fears was a member of the 2024 USA men's under 18 national team. He won the gold medal at FIBA under 18 America. Okay, all right. That's something to know. Let me see. Where's his NBA draft profile? There you go. That'll help me. Whoa. Verifying I'm a human. Okay, yeah, I'm a human. Okay, thank you. He's from Joliet, Illinois, like the Blues Brothers. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, he's from Joliet. Dun, dun, dun. He's on a mission from God, y'all. Dun, 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 dun. He went to the alma mater of Trae Young, Oklahoma University. 6'3", 185-pound point guard. Jeremiah Fears. There's some name that, you could have like a really weird like jersey swap with him and a lot of other people with the last name Fears. That's what I would say about that. You gotta have a really good jersey swap with him. Yeah, in certain ways. I don't know. There gonna be some weird ones there. Oh, they just released on set with Grady Dick and Tracy McGrady 11 minutes ago, filming their Gillette commercials. All right, let's go look at Jeremiah. Stay on task, Lex. Don't ADHD this. We got to go look at Jeremiah Fears. All right, let's see. Let's get the reasonably reasonable highlights. Nothing too crazy long. Something, and not just a single game. I kind of like to watch a bunch of games highlights. Come on now, give me the highlights. No. Come on. This is not a good search. Let me look at this way. All right, we'll look at his early season highlights. This is from this year from Oklahoma. Freshman point guard Jeremiah Fears. All right. Okay. He's averaging 18 points a game, 4.6 assists, 3.5 rebounds, and 2.3 steals so far for Oklahoma this season. Okay, they're playing on the Oklahoma City court. Interesting. All right, that's a nice little layup. He's a long, tall guard. He's got some good size. Like he's not a small guard, that's for sure. All right, let's see. Whoa, look at that crazy alley-oop he just threw. He threw a really crazy, just woo, and it went up in the air, and it was really good lob threat. So he's a very good passer, like Trae Young from Oklahoma. There's a little acrobatic turnaround layup where he's going to the basket and he falls. Look at that hustle. He's just out running the guy, running the ball down, and then throwing the ball down. So he's a very active player. He's got some good foot speed. And I like his long arms and stuff. Now, the one thing about him, Nako, I would say that I worry about is his frame, once again, is very frail. And I always worry about this with any player coming from college if they look a little skinny and not as tough. But Jacoby Walter, Grady Dick, those guys get in the weight room and you start to calm those fears. Let's see. Yeah, he's a real dribbler. He likes to dribble around to get his rhythm, and then he'll elevate in different places. I see him in the mid-range. I see him from the outside. Yeah, he's an interesting player. This nice little fake and then into a lob. Wow. I like his playmaking ability. I like how much he gets after it also. He's a very active player. He's always moving, it looks like. And he does have some burst to him as far as speed. There's a very interesting dribble, fallback fadeaway that looked very measured and fundamentally good. There he is with a nice little finger roll with the defense right next to him, just going to the side of them. There's a three with the guy's hand in his face. There's a lot of diversity in Jeremiah Fears' game here. And because of his height at his position, he's going to be a good rebounder too, I can tell. 3-point shot, pretty good there. Nice deep one. There he is. He's driving around. So he's showing both. I'm not seeing just a whole highlight of him just doing one thing. We're seeing it all mixed up. There's like 4 or 5 actions that he does that look really good. And we're seeing it in the highlight reel like over and over again. There's a steal and he's running it down. He just quicker than the other guys runs down and lays it up. Yeah, I like this kid a lot. This Oklahoma kid. If we're gonna do anybody at that position, he's not a bad pick. He's not a bad pick. He's definitely somebody that I think would be pretty good. Jeremiah Fears. Nako, you gotta tell me where he's projected in the draft. Yeah, wow, this highlight keeps going and going, and there's a real diversity in the skills that he's showing in the highlight. That's one thing I like is sometimes these highlights are very like the same shit over and over and over again. And I'm like, okay, I get it. He can block shots. Okay, I get it. He shoots the three a lot. You know, this is showing a real diversity of skills and different things he can do. Wow, he's a really good lob passer. Really, really good lob passer. And he's got a floater too. So he can shoot the three. He's got a floater. He's got a turnaround. He can rebound. He's very quick to the ball. And he's got some steals chops too. Yeah, I like this kid a lot. Jeremiah Fears is pretty good, Gerald. You brought me a good one on this one. You've been doing the first two you brought me so far, Common and this guy, are thumbs up from me. Thumbs up for me. Jeremiah Fears, I have no fears in Masai Ujiri drafting Jeremiah, is what I'm going to say after that. Yeah, wow. Wow, where is he projected? Is he bottom 10? Because he's got to be. Is he a top 10 prospect? He probably is, because he looks like he's like that. He looks like he's like that, like he'd be like somewhere between 5 and 10 on the draft. I don't know, man. Thank you, Nako, for the scout of the day. And I'm going to give you a dunk for bringing me a real quality player right there. Jeremiah Fears. Yeah, have no fears, Bobby Webster. Have no fears. Go on and get him. That's what the Raptor Streak's saying. If you're interested in Jeremiah, have no fears. The Raptor Freak seal of approval is there. That's right. Trevor's saying Raptors started 5, still trying to figure it out, and can't wait to see when they do. Oh, so the Raptors starting 5, you're saying. Okay, yeah. I think that barbecue's been fantastic. And one of the things that I'm enjoying about barbecue is seeing the different flavors of barbecue that we get. Sometimes we get the barbecue yak dick, which is like the starting lineup right now. But we've also seen barbecue duck dishes in the last day or so with Chris Boucher out there as the big. In fact, there's been lineups where Scotty and Chris are the two bigs, and it'll be like Davion with like there was a barbecue Davion duck dish served last night for a little while. It was barbecue Davion duck, which is barbecue plus Davion and Chris. And that lineup was fun, man. That lineup was really, really fun. It was very tenacious and energetic. And the skill and talent level of barbecue with those aggressive energy guys was really, really awesome. And so there's like the barbecue dishes that are being served in the rotational lineups by Darko right now are intriguing. And this is definitely part of the process he was talking about like a couple of weeks ago, that with everybody back now, we're going to have to try and see what gels and what works and try different combinations. And he's trying different barbecue dishes. And I love it when Barnes, Barrett, and Quickly are on the court all together, because there is a premium level of talent that we're getting from that we're just scratching the surface from getting good results from. And they're just finding their feet as a trio out there. And they don't get it twisted, man. The connection between RJ and Scotty is fantastic. You seeing so much trust in each other with the full court lobs when there's a mouse in the house down the court, whether it's RJ or Scotty. They're reversible in both positions, whether the passer or the receiver. It's been awesome. I love that. And man, they really play well off each other, RJ and Scott. They really, really play well off each other. So, yeah, the barbecue dishes are interesting. I like the barbecue Davion duck, not Dick, duck. And that's Chris Boucher. That's right. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's see. Seymour saying, tapping in from Mountain Time region. Good morning to Alberta, Raptor Freak. Mr. Seymour Pape with the City Slicker. Hopefully he's seeing more paper in his life. It's Friday. Is it payday? You get a payday. See that paper later. That's right. Kaz is saying salute to Seymour. That's right. Salute to our central Raptor Freak family in the great province of Alberta. That's right. Mike saying, not gonna lie, thank G's Masai doesn't listen to the fans. Yeah, thank Jesus that he doesn't listen to fans. I know. I would, crowdsourcing with the stuff is good for mascots and colors of new WNBA franchises and names and maybe a little bit of crowdsourcing on like the pulse of the opinions of the fans as far as what's going on with different players and what's going on with the coach and stuff like that. Sure, they're listening to the noise, but I don't think they take a whole lot of it seriously. They may trust a source like this channel because they know our hearts are in the right place and that we are true fans, and that in some ways you're getting an unfiltered true fan, a positive true fan opinion from this channel. Who knows? I'm sure they may listen to some people, but they may not really get putting weight into it unless it makes sense, right? Like if I say something or somebody has a comment in this channel that makes sense and they just happen to glean it from here, who knows? Maybe they'll use it. But thank goodness they overall do not listen to the fans. This is definitely true, Mike. Yeah, Scoot is terrible, laugh out loud. And people wanted him to pair with Scotty, shaking my head. Imagine tanking hard, then picking a bad player, laugh out loud. Yeah, we're not trying to do this. No, no, I told y'all at that time, you can go back and watch my archives when Scoot and Victor were coming out, that the only thing people liked in Raptors land about the Scotty Scooty combination was the names are stupidly like each other. It's so dumb. We want Scoot to play with Scott. Oh, what are you in kindergarten? You want Pop with Pap and Tim with Tam? You want fucking Hop on Pop? Dr. Seuss, motherfuckers? That's not how you build your team. Oh, it's because their names are cute together. I love it. Scott and Scoot. I love it. He has to get him now. No, we ain't doing this shit just because you think it's alliteratively funny. Thank God, right, Mike? Seriously, Dr. Seuss motherfuckers wanting Scoot for Scotty. Oh, this is just gonna be cool. He's gonna be so good, Lex. No, I saw that motherfucker when he played against G League 905, and that dude sucks. Just trust me. Oh man, I saw it before I even saw him in the G League. I knew he wasn't gonna be that good because he's just a freakishly good athlete in certain ways. But you know what? Those motherfuckers be on N1 tours, not in the NBA playing good fundamental basketball. Yeah, you go ahead and go play with the professor and Escalade because that's where you would do well, Scoot Henderson, because you're freakishly strong, but you're undersized still in this league and you ain't got no shot. So how the hell you gonna be in the NBA? That's what I'm gonna say about that right there. Yeah, Mike, thank God. Scoot Henderson, what a bullet to dodge. Mike saying nice effort, but turnovers killed them in the fourth quarter. Big issue. Big issue. Yeah, I mean, that's when the intensity intensifies, right? And that's when you really have to be battle tested and ready to weather the storm of the defensive increase and the energy intensity and the competitive will to fight to try and win. That's when you have to really shore it up. And if your team is not adept and smooth, and because they're still kind of learning each other, there's going to be turnovers. The Cleveland Cavaliers know that's the time to tighten up and really get after it and close the game out and win. And well, the Raptors don't know exactly how to do that yet. That's part of the treasure map that I'm talking about right there. That's part of the treasure map to winning that Freddie knew that, nobody on our team totally knows yet. The team stats for yesterday, real quick. The Raptors shot amazingly well from the field. It's crazy. They shot 60% from the field last night, guys. That's fantastic. And that's really an accomplishment considering the first game of the season when we played against the Cavs, they absolutely did not let us shoot well at all with their twin tower lineup and blew us out. So shooting 60% last night is a testament to a couple things. It's a testament to the Raptors working the ball around and really finding the good open shots. There were a couple times where we saw there was one point where Davion and Chris were kind of bouncing the ball back and forth between each other, but then they gave it to Jacoby in the corner, and Jacoby took the three. And that was just a very patient possession where they worked the ball around and they got a very, very good high percentage shot. And they got another player involved by making a three because Davion and Chris had already made threes and they were kind of going already. And well, they moved it around the horn and boom, they get a Jacoby. Jacoby hits a three. And that was just really smart ball movement with shot selection. There's another play where this is another reason why we shot 60%. Scotty Barnes is very patient with his work in mid-range that we're talking about earlier. There were a couple times where Scotty had the chance to go up quicker and rush his shot, but he didn't. He collected himself. He took a couple extra dribbles, and he got himself to the right position, and he made the shot more and more fundamentally and smart and shot selection and money that he was going to cash them in. And that's what I love. I mean, in some ways, that is showing a crazy, huge jump. If people are actually watching Scott right now, that he's already got a whole bunch of post, high post, low post, turnaround, little dribble, kind of fake kind of stuff, fade away that he's being very successful with. Usually there's a learning curve with this stuff, and guys will miss a lot more than they're making. He's making way more than he's missing. So we need to recognize that progress and that skill building that he's doing under Darko right now, where he is becoming a go-to guy in the mid-range, and he's patient and not rushing things like most people do when they first start trying to do that shit. So he's advanced, man. I'm sorry. He may not be learning things quickly in certain areas like we think, like taking over the game, getting 40 points, like I said earlier, but he's advanced at learning certain basic skills quickly, like getting his three-point shot better, like doing what I was just talking about with his mid-range shooting around with his turnarounds. That's phenomenal, man. The three-point shooting was pretty equitable. You know, we've been getting blown out in three-point shootouts in games lately, and we hung with the Cavs for most of the game, having mostly the same three-point makes as they did. We shot 45% from three last night, 14 of 31. That's fantastic. But they did get 4 more threes by the end of the game, and some of those extra ones were the ones at the end with Darius Garland taking over at the end there. Yeah, 18 of 45 for them with 40%. Yeah, the free throw line, as Darko said, was a problem. They out-rebounded us by +5, 42 to 37. And the other problem was late in the game, offensive rebounds really killed us. You know, they were playing really tough defense and staying up on the Cavs in the last 2 minutes of game. But because they're so up on the Cavs and not in defensive ideas and stances, that they were not boxing out correctly, and the ball was going wildly all over the place, and the Cavs are getting second and third chance shots that we cannot afford to allow to happen. In fact, when they're watching tape this morning, they're going to be watching the last 2 minutes. They're going to be saying, this is where you should have boxed him out and got that loose ball before they got a second opportunity to shoot on that possession. Because that absolutely killed us at the end of the game, that we could not close defensive possessions out by collecting the defensive rebound. And that is something they're going to have to work on. 16 offensive rebounds for the Cavs last night. Another huge reason why we lost last night. Yeah. 34 assists for the Raptors. Like I said, they were connected. They're playing really well. Darko said after the game, I'm proud of this team for their resiliency and their connectiveness. And those are the two things that we've been talking about a lot in the last couple of days because of what's been happening with them. And I said, well, what is it matters? What matters? Progressing, resiliency, and connectiveness. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing right now. That's right. Turnovers, not bad. 13 turnovers for the Raptors, 11 for them. Maybe some costly ones at the end, like Smooth's saying. Fast break, we did get out on it for 19 points, and we won the points in the paint, which is absolutely amazing. Once again, considering how much the Cavs dominated the rebounds and the points in the paint in the first game we played against them, we matched up way better with them physically, size-wise, than we did the first game of the season. So there's some progress in that, right? The Cavs are better at this point in the season than the first game of the season. They're humming better, but we played them better at this point than we did the first game of the season. Something's not lining up with theories. Some things people have been saying recently about how, wow, we're so good at the beginning of the season, but we're not that good right now. What happened? Well, from what I said, we played the Cavs better at this game than we did at the beginning of the season last night. So what is it? Are we better now than we were at the beginning of the season? It's just that things are different in the NBA with the teams are revved up halfway through the season. I don't know. It's no clear answer. It's not either we're really shitty or we're not really, really good. It's somewhere in the middle. And we got to stop being all or nothing. It's like, oh, this team is just so horrible. We just got to start over again. No, because this team's showing signs that they are good and they're going to progress. They may not be the absolute top, but they're somewhere in the middle. And I think Raptors fans, when they're gauging the Raptors right now, need to realize this, that even if we make franchise losses around Christmas and we just barely lose the Cavs last night, we're somewhere in the middle of opinion of where we actually are. The truth is always somewhere in the middle of everything. It's not one person's account. It's not the other person's account, somewhere in between their accounts. And that's what's happening here right now. That's what's happening right now. Yeah. Let's see. Smooth saying Raptors turned to vapor in the fourth, man. It seems like a real effort for them to bring it over the finish line. Very hard. Well, I'm just saying, like everything's a level, right? Preseason, summer league, regular season, playoffs, first round of playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals, the finals. The intensity, ratchet it up, just like you're on the rack in medieval times. Every time, you stretch it out, make it even more tough. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's closing time in an NBA game. There's a ratchet up of intensity that the Raptors have to understand and have to match and overpower the other team in that intensity. That is the issue right there, Smooth. That we don't know that yet. We haven't figured it out as a collective, and we got to get better at it. These other teams understand. They have to do this drill every day and do it. And we're doing it, and we're going to learn it, and we're going to get better at it. But everything, and that's the thing, when we get the playoffs for the first time after this, we're going to get into that ratcheted up pressure in the first round of the playoffs. We may fail right away because they didn't realize, oh, shit, it's like this much more ratcheted up. So it's the same kind of shit. The last 3 minutes of the Cavaliers game last night ratcheted it up. Darius Garland and Jared Allen with better defense and different things like that. They do things just a little bit more extra. And the Raptors have to match that energy and understand it and understand how to be successful against a more intense defensive intensity and also a more intense, aggressive playmaker trying to score and also set up his teammates in Darius Garland. So that's a lot of it right there, man. That's a lot of it. It all gets ratcheted up. First round of playoffs, second round, Eastern Conference, finals. It gets ratcheted up every level. And you have to be ready for weathering each one. Yeah. Nako saying Scoot was fun to watch pre-draft. Blazers aren't that bad at drafting. Shaden is good. Scoot's bad, though. I'm going to disagree with you. Blazers have been horrible at drafting. Their history of drafting has been so bad. Sam Bowie, Greg Oden. Yeah, they've just had a lot of bad luck with their drafts, and they don't pick exactly right. Now they've had some hits, of course, like Dame Lillard. LaMarcus Aldridge was a pretty big, good hit for them for a long, long time. But yeah, I would say, nah, man. I think that the Blazers are one of the worst front offices in the league right now, and they're totally dysfunctional. And their record is earned right now. They're very dysfunctional there. Their team, in some ways, is cast. It's like Washington West right now. All the cast-offs from other teams where people don't want them end up in Portland, is what I'm saying. And that's like Washington in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, Ayton is a symbol of that. He's a symbol of that. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. TGIF, competitive game. Kudos to the fight by all. Yeah, you can't get mad at it. Like I said, watch for the progress. And, well, we saw it. Even in like they played better on the second night of a back-to-back, and they had to travel. That's really good. That's really, really good. And Cleveland really does have their shit together. They really, really do. They really, really do. Let's see. Mike saying, we had people scared for a moment. They were freaking out when the Cavs were about to lose to the Raptors. Laugh out loud. I know. It was a very real threat last night. The crowd last night was not that boisterous. Didn't it look like a weird MAGA rally? They're all wearing red hats out there. And I'm like, man, they look like a MAGA rally or some bullshit like that. And it's kind of like, they deserve to lose then. And we need to beat them because of the stupid red hats that they're all wearing at the arena. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And I'm sure that the fans, they are happy in the end. But for most of the game, they were probably sweating a little on things. And like, oh, no, are we going to lose? This is a trap game. It was a trap game. And if we were just a little bit further in our development as a team overall, maybe we would have trapped them and stole that game. Maybe this is part of the mile markers that we check for in the future. Are we going to get in this situation like last night and we're going to see a different outcome because the Raptors have progressed and figured out a little bit more about ratcheting up the intensity like I just was talking about? I'm telling you, this is the way we find progress. We remember games like last night. We remember what we've been doing as a team, and we see progress. And we're like, holy shit, they actually won this time against Cleveland in the close game in Cleveland this year. They had this game last year. It was so close. Chris looked like he was getting revenge for Boxing Day debacle against Cleveland and Cleveland with replacement players. In some ways, that was what I was thinking about. Chris's depression after getting one of the worst Raptors losses with Yuta Watanabe and the replacement players of Happy Birthday Tremont Waters on our team. And that horrible game, Chris had realizations in that game about being a role player in the league and not trying to be a superstar anymore. Well, in some ways, it looked like Chris was out there working some of that out on them. And him and him and Georges Yang, they have a history. And some reason I picked that picture for the stream partly because they have had a history for a couple of years of not liking each other and talking smack and being very physical with each other. They're kind of opposite kind of players: pudgy, fat, lazy, ugly. Georges Yang, and awesome, beautiful, sleek, amazing, quick. Chris Boucher. They're not really like personalities that mix well, and I've seen them in the past have issues with each other, and they did last night too. There was some smack talking between the two of them during the game. But yeah, I wanted Chris to get some revenge for Boxing Day a couple years ago with Yuta Watanabe and Delano Benton, and get a little get back for our team in that one game that happened on Boxing Day. Yeah, but it didn't happen. He was getting there. He was close, and he was working it like that. And Chris, you're a badass either way. That's what I'm going to say about that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Randolph saying, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang, do not leave your purpose for the day undone or for others. No one can be you. However, there's always someone who can do what you can and maybe better. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Don't get into your mind that you're just hot shit. There's maybe somebody better at what you're doing somewhere else all the time, but you just got to do what you can with the best of your ability. And that's what matters. And that's what Randolph's saying. Go and do your purpose. Go and do what your creator intended you to do in the right way, in the right things in life. I like that. I like that. Thank you, Randolph, for your blessings, and blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families out there. That's right. Smooth saying Pascal is a self-made star, man. No one thought he was going to become what he is now. Scotty's drafted 4th overall. Projections were already pretty high for him, part of the Team USA select teams. Already had the platform, man. Respectfully, Pascal's work ethic and Scotty Barnes, no comparison. I don't know if that's true, Smooth. I don't know. And I'll be respectful in answering this too. He says Scotty is in his 4th year. By his 5th, he has to take it to the next level. The Raptors trade away all their quality to build around him. The clock is ticking. Yeah, I'm not stressing about this. I don't doubt Scott. I really don't. I know his personality. And I think you're exactly wrong on this. I think Scotty's worked really, really hard. In fact, he's taken a lot of what Siakam showed him, and he's taken it for himself. It may not be on the level of Siakam because Siakam is just insane. Rico Hines said that Siakam is the hardest working player he's ever been around in the NBA ever. And ever. That means like in old generations, his generation, anything. And that's just, in some ways, that's maybe unattainable for anybody to be Siakam level. And that's true. Siakam came from nowhere and made himself somebody. And Scotty was known before. But also, Scotty was not known exactly for what he's becoming right now. Scotty was known for being off the bench at Florida State. Scotty was known for being a glue guy. Scotty was not known for being a go-to guy and taking over guy. So we have to understand his journey is a lot different. And his journey is not, you can't compare them in some ways. They're very, very apples and oranges. And I don't doubt Scott is going to be what Darko just said last night, that he's going to be a double-double or triple-double machine in a couple years from now, because there's nothing stopping him except for himself. And he's going to get there. The thing about Scott is every single offseason, he's come back much, much better than the year before. He had a huge leap last year, and everybody noticed it. And they're like, holy crap, Scotty's on a whole new level than he was from his 2nd year and his 3rd year. Well, he's made himself to a new level this year, too. And he put in an extreme amount of work in the offseason on his 3-point shot. And he's working on certain things. And he is improving very quickly. It may not seem like it because you're saying, oh, it's his 4th year in. He's this and this. But players are weird, and they are all different and unique in their development schedules. And you got to think about Giannis Antetokounmpo and his journey and his early seasons, his first 4 years. You'd be surprised at how much they may match up with Scotty's. And how much you could actually see him projecting into being even more consistent like Giannis on the level that Giannis is, because they're very similar in what their output early on in their careers were like. In fact, Scotty may have scored more than Giannis in his first couple years than Giannis did. Because Giannis wasn't really a scorer when he first showed up. He was just a Greek freak. He had a lot of athletic ability, and he had to form himself into becoming who he is at this point. So don't get it twisted. Scotty has the initiative to work on himself really diligently in the offseason with Brian Macon and doing all the different things he does to continue to be a better player every single day during the season or off season. He's going to get there. He's going to get there. I know it's easy to look at Scott and say he's an immature, lazy young man, but that's not true in either respect. It's not true at all. He is not. He is not immature. He's very, very mature at this point. He was immature maybe in his first year, and also he is definitely not lazy. That man is working and busting his ass. And I can also see that he really takes it seriously, that he is the man for the Raptors and he's loyal to the Raptors and that he is working and busting his ass for the Raptors. Because part of it is Scotty's not the normal superstar. He's not the one that just goes for points and buckets and three-pointers and accolades and looking good to everybody. No, he's doing grunt work that gets no praise and no kind of like look at sometimes. He's doing a lot of the little things, the dirty things, the dirty work that people have to do in basketball games to try and win that gets no applause, that gets no kind of recognition. And usually prima donnas and superstar players don't do that shit. They let other people take that stuff. And he's not. He's not. So that's what I'm saying. He's blue collar. Scotty's a very blue collar player. We got to remember this. He's working. He's working, man. And when he's on that court, he's clocking in. That's right. Don't worry about the clock ticking. These are young players. We got a young core. They got time. They got time. And he's going to progress every year. That's the only thing that really matters is as long as he's progressing every year. And he is. He is. He's on a whole new level currently right now in the last 2 weeks that I have never seen in his career until now. Cool Cat saying team does not know how to close games. Yep, exactly. The IQ is not there yet, although IQ is there on game management to close out. Yeah. It's just that, you go up against their brain trust and their level of experience and their tenacity and their talent. And if it doesn't match up in the matchup wise, well, you get beat. Darius Garland, that's the ace in the sleeve for them as far as with this. If Donovan had been playing, he would have probably been involved in it too. That's the thing. They have that luxury. They have that talent. They have that know-how. They have that experience. They have that history. And we don't yet. We have to build it. We have to learn it and start over. That's what a rebuild is. And that's why everybody has to understand this is going to be painful and it's not going to be very much full of success right away. It's going to take some time. Smooth saying Scotty needs to play in the low post. That's where he can potentially dominate. Yeah, he already is. He could be a four-man. Perhaps the Raptors should play him at that spot rather than the jack of all trades stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'll agree completely with what you're saying, Reggie. He's going to be a jack of all trades anyway, just because the skill level of being able to do everything is just out there on the court. But the points of emphasis, the places of emphasis are totally what I think you're exactly right. He's a four. He's a four. He should be playing power forward. He's always the second biggest Raptor on the court, if sometimes the biggest. In fact, he was playing center last night against Jared Allen and having to play him straight up with no Jakob or Kelly out there. And that says a lot right there too, that he's like in some ways, look, the years before Scotty would be outmatched in those center matchups. He's not anymore. He's not. No, he's had to play Karl Anthony Towns and Jared Allen the last week, and he's played them toe to toe and actually gave them a pretty good defensive run. And they're not dominating us. So that's the progress right there. That's kind of hidden that nobody's talking about. Think about it. 2 years ago, Scotty had Cat as his assignment. Cat's destroying him. Not now. Same thing with Jared Allen. Jared Allen, he could actually body up with Jared Allen with his length and stuff like that and kind of hold Jared Allen out in different ways. So, I mean, there's another level I could say right there. Yeah. I think they're playing him at 4 on the down low right now. He's not bringing the ball up as much. And he's habitating in 4 areas and doing a lot of post-ups. So I think this is what they're doing. It's just that maybe we want to see more, higher percentage of more of it is what I'm saying. Like, and you're saying it too. I like that, Reggie. Yeah. So not going to say disrespect by the fans. Who? Scoot or Chris Boucher? Chris Boucher was disrespected by the fans. No, he wasn't. They love him. They love him. Tristan's here. Good to see Tristan. Probably the best game I've seen him play all season. No, I've seen him win games. I think the best game this season to me was the second game of the season when we beat Philadelphia. That was so nice to beat Nick Nurse. And think about that. Seriously, y'all. We beat Nick Nurse this season, and we only have 8 wins. And in some ways, that is so awesome considering how little we've won so far this year. The fact that we got to beat Nick Nurse in the second game of the season. In some ways, that's my favorite win of the year. It really, really is. It really, really is. Now, we near the end of the month, we have a couple of easier opponents. So we should get a win near the end of the month if we don't get one sooner. Yeah. Detroit, on Saturday. I know Nako's driving to Detroit to watch the Raptors play the Pistons Saturday night. That's a very winnable game, even though Detroit is much better. They're playing better. It's still a winnable game for the Raptors. And I'll have to go look at the percentages. This may be a new segment on the previews where I go and look at the ESPN matchup predictor and see what percentage they're giving us a chance to win, because that can be indicative of or whether we have a better chance against these teams than normal. So I'll go look at that. Seymour said, I can't follow suit, win or lose. I'm a diehard Raptors fan. Let's go, Raptors. That's right. He's still in there. He's still in the trenches with me, watching, taking the hits of the L's with the rest of us as we stay in there watching while others have gone on with their lives. Yeah, it's just we can't change. We're Raptor freaks. It's just how it is, man. It's just how it is. Mike's saying once we play through a bunch of stuff with barbecue, they will start to realize which players they can make late and great, which ones can't. Risk versus reward and chemistry abilities and the holes that can't be shown. Yeah, I mean, you fine-tune it. In some ways, we just really want to get that unit of barbecue out there running up and down the court with more reps, more familiarity, more chemistry built up, and more beautiful, fantastic plays happening. That's what I'm saying. The potential of growth is in that, is in the chemistry, the synergy between Emmanuel, Scotty, and RJ. There's so much potential because of this different jobs they do and their differences as players to fit in and look for each other in different ways. And Emmanuel's really the one who's late to the party. Scotty and RJ have a lot of time already this year, and they really have built a connection. And in some ways, I want to see more of that with Emmanuel. And we've seen little parts of it, like Emmanuel doing a little flip lob to Scotty. The first game he came back. You know, there's some really cool stuff that's going to be coming between all of them that we'll see better. Synergy with Grady also. In fact, they made it a point. We saw before the game, Scotty went up to each of his teammates and had a little pep talk with each one of them before the game. He went up to Grady and he said something really encouraging. And Grady started really well in the game last night. Much, much better than in the game in New York, with making some baskets and contributing and doing things right away and getting some confidence right away. Now, Grady had moments where he failed last night, but he followed him up with just going back at it and getting successful the next attempt. And that's what a player like him needs. He can't get caught up in his head mentally. He's got to be like, yeah, okay, that was embarrassing. I didn't make that layup, but I'm going to turn around and forget about it, and I'm going to make a three on the next possession and forget that that layup that was blown even happened. Short memory. Grady Dick. Yeah, he has to have that. Let's go look at the rest of the box score for the rest of the Raptors other than the Stars. Yeah, let's go do that now. Why not? Jakob Poeltl, 8 for 10. He's an honorable mention for All-Star last night. 1 for 4 at the free throw line. That's why I kind of disqualified him, was the 3 missed free throws. Really poor leadership there. 3 offensive rebounds, 7 rebounds altogether. 6 assists for Yak, too. 3 steals, 1 block. He didn't have a plus-minus. He was even. 17 points in 34 minutes. Yeah, Yak was solid. Yak's so weird with his push shots right now. Like, he was shooting a lot of push shots in the game last night, and they're so money. And some of them are pretty far out. Like, they're not really close up push shots. He's shooting like 10-foot push shots and extending his arm with his follow through is really interesting. Like, he's so money with those right now. And they really do understand that. Scotty really understands, like, dribbling around the lane. If Yak is in a certain spot and he can read it, he knows he can just dump it to him and he'll just put the ball in the hoop. And there's a lot of that going on. That's awesome. RJ was pretty good. He's honorable mention too. 8 of 15. 2 of 6 from 3, 2 of 3 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 4 turnovers, a minus 15, 20 points in 38 minutes. RJ's just solid. He has to help us score. You know, in some ways, this was a high-scoring game, and the Raptors ain't getting bunch production most games. Well, we did this time, and the starters all scored double digits too. And that's an improvement from the last couple games too, is that we've been anemic with our offense, and we're getting what? We had 7 guys in double digits last night. That's fantastic. There's been games in the recent 2 weeks where we've had 2 guys in double digits. So a great team effort of contributing and scoring overall to get us to 126 points and stay competitive with a high-octane offense like the Cavs. I can't get mad at that. Seriously. Emmanuel Quickley, 4 of 10 last night, 2 of 6 from 3, 0 rebounds, 7 assists, though, with two turnovers, a minus 13 with only 10 points in 30 minutes. Yeah, Emmanuel's still working through things. In fact, I worry a little bit because he was holding his left arm a little bit last night. He's not wearing the same kind of sleeve that he had on the last couple games. He had a lighter sleeve on last night. I want him to stay healthy. That's the most important thing. Now he may be still going through some coming back, and he's not totally right because his scoring isn't exactly right. He's not shooting as much as he should, and it could be because of arm fatigue and still trying to heal the arm to an extent, his left arm. So I'm going to give him allowances. He's contributing. I mean, he got 7 assists and 2 turnovers, and that's fine. That's point guard kind of assist to turnover ratio I'll accept. So, 10 points. He got to the double digits in the starting lineup too, even if he's the one who got closest. Grady Dick, much better game. 5 of 9 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. I wish he'd get more threes. The 1 3 he hit was a really cool transition basket where Scotty kind of stopped and dropped it off to him in transition, and he nailed it right away. I love that. I love that kind of 3. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, a -1 with 11 points in 21 minutes. You could still do so much more for us, Grady. And in some ways, I know your confidence will shine through in the end, and you'll hit through this barrier, and you'll get to the next level next also, because that's what it is. These guys hit barriers and what they're doing and learning, and they get through it, and then boom, we see the other side. And Grady and Scotty are going to get the other side on these things they're working on right now. Kelly Olynyk, just 6 minutes in appearance, a 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 foul, 0 points. And do you think the crowd had a factor in Kelly getting a goose egg? They really hate him in Cleveland. That was amazing to hear the fans in Cleveland boo Kelly relentlessly like we do Goran Dragic in Canada. Yeah, he was getting that Goran treatment like we were giving Goran after he left us. Now, this is a crazy thing, as pointed out by Matt Devlin on the broadcast. This all stems from a dirty hit that he did to Kevin Love 10 years ago. 10 years ago! They've been booing Kelly Olynyk every single time he comes back to Cleveland, whichever team he's on. In some ways, I loved it, man. It's very Manson Brothers from Slapshot. That Kelly's just like that. He's like a notorious player that the Cavs fans hate so much that they booing him like he's Vince Carter in Toronto. Yeah, that was something, man. Honestly, I didn't know he had it like that in that town. Maybe it was like, I think the last couple times we played in Cleveland, Kelly was not playing. He may have been injured, so I wasn't aware of this. But boy, there is no love lost for our Canadian guy, Kelly Olynyk, in the city of Cleveland. No love for hurting love. That's right. That's right. Chris Boucher already did him. Davion Mitchell, 1 for 2 in 16 minutes, 0 for 1 from 3. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, a -13 with 2 points. And Jacoby Walter, 15 minutes, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 from free throw, 1 assist, 4 points, a +5. Yeah, Jacoby could add a lot more points to help us too. But in some ways, I give him allowances. He's a rookie, he's still learning. But man, he's really helped in contributing double digits off the bench in recent games. And well, we kind of want to depend on that, Jacoby. I don't care if you're starting or not. You need to try and go get double digits every game. That's the challenge I give for you. Yeah, DMPs for Garrett Temple and Bruce Brown, who actually wasn't available for the game, a second night of a back-to-back, and they're still trying to help him get back in a healthy way, in a slow way. That's right. That's right. Let's keep going. Let's see. Eric Jacob is here. Wow, Eric Jakob. Eric Jakob. I'll say your name like Jakob Pertl. Eric Jakob, who's our guy in Zimbabwe, I believe, man. This guy's in Africa, guys. Original Raptor Freak. Started watching my channel right at the beginning 3 years ago. It's good to see you circle around and say hi, man. He's saying Boucher just needs minutes. Last 3 coaches can't get that straight. Last 3 coaches? Boucher's only been coached by 2 Raptors coaches. He didn't get Casey. Boucher showed up when Nick showed up together, and Kawhi showed up too. They all showed up the same year. Kawhi, Chris, and Nick's first year with the Raptors was the championship year. So Chris never was never coached by Coach Casey. He didn't get to see him. He only saw Nick and Darko. Now, I would say this. I feel like Darko's done a great job with Chris. He's using him exactly right. He's keeping him hungry. He's being straight up with them. There's no confusion. And Chris is playing the most efficient, ready-to-play basketball in his entire career. Now, Nick Nurse may have confused things for Chris. Some of the growing pains for Chris in his career were under Nick Nurse. And Nick Nurse, to be honest, was really good for Chris. Chris would admit this, that Nick Nurse was very hard on him and told him things he didn't want to hear, but they made him better and made him who he is right now. In fact, Some of the things that Chris did last night, I said, we got to thank Nick Nurse for, because what Nick used to do was he'd bench Chris for not going all out with his energy. And Chris is the player he is today because Nick influenced him in this way. I'm not talking good about Nick Nurse very often, but I will in this instance, because the way that Nick put him in the doghouse when he would not put all out effort on the court made Chris Boucher partly the player he is today. And Chris would admit this. You know, there were times where Chris would come out in the game and not be engaged in the game, and he'd be lazy and just kind of running up and down the court. Well, the Chris that is out there today in the games that are happening today is nothing like that. We can depend on him, and he's getting after it. And that is partly the lessons of Nick Nurse from like 4 years ago, from like 5 years ago, when he was going through doghouse stuff with Nick. The doghouse with Chris and Darko isn't the same thing. He's not punishing him when he's sitting him. He's out of the rotation in games recently because people are healthy. He's got to give minutes to Bruce Brown to try and showcase him for a trade. There's all kinds of different reasons. It's not because Chris is doing anything wrong. It's because Darko has to make tough decisions and leave people out of the rotation sometimes. And he's had to do that to Chris recently. So that's what it is right there. I would not say that these coaches do not understand how to use Chris. They do. And the thing is, Chris came out gangbusters last night, hit freeze right away, was energy personified, and he saw an increase in his usage and minutes for the rest of the game because of that. So I can't get behind this, Eric. It's really good to see you, man, but I can't agree with you. Both of the coaches that have Chris were very good for him, and Darko and him have a really good relationship right now. Let's not get it twisted. They're very eye to eye, and they're very upfront with each other and what's going on. And that's part of the reason why Chris is coming back with confidence whenever Darko calls 25 off the bench. That's why, right there. Mike's saying, I heard an interesting STST the other day. What is that? Mike with his weird younger generation acronyms that I just don't know. LULS and all this weird SDS, STST. What is that, man? I have no idea what that is, man. Your short form, it goes over my head. It was a listing of players that have the highest and lowest percentage of being the primary defender and defending the shooting action. So it's sticking to your guy. Yeah, Davion's high on this list. That's the thing right there, right? Davion's high on that list. Mike's saying the highest percentage was mainly centers with Pirtle at 7. Interesting. But on the lowest end, it was Braun, DeRozan, and Boucher in the top 10 of guys that get switched out or blown by. That's probably why. Yeah. Yeah. It's not that Chris is lazy. It's Chris is very thin. And this is something I've said his whole career. He can't take up space because people can go around him because he is very thin. So he really has to have his arms outstretched and trying to make mock more area. It's just like a peacock will fluff up his feathers to look bigger against something. Well, he needs to do that with his arms and his limbs and really trying to hold and catch some area, because if he doesn't, going right by him, he's so skinny. And this is part of the problem. It's not that he's not putting the effort. I mean, I'll say LeBron's not. And I know DeRozan in some ways saves a lot of his energy for the offensive end. But yeah, that's it right there. Mischief is saying that Jeremiah Fears is a top 18 player. So he's later in, he's going to probably be in the mid first round is probably where he is. Okay. Thanks for the information, Jay. I appreciate that. Nako's saying I've seen him as low as 20 and as high as 4. Wow. He's probably my favorite guard that I've watched this draft so far, even if he's not necessarily the best. I'd take him 6, absolutely lowest, to absolutely highest. Wow. So you think he's between 2 and 6 pick? You think he's better than 3 of the top guys, Ace and Dylan and Cooper? Wow, that's pretty high esteem, Gerald. I don't want to reach for him. I don't know. He's the best guard I've seen so far. I liked him better than Igor. If I'm going to compare their similar positions and sizes, I like him better than Igor Denham. I do. I like Jeremiah Fears better than Igor Denham. I'll say that from the guys I've seen so far at that position. We'll see how it goes. I see more of them. That's right. Mike's saying this draft has some good prospects. Yeah, we're going to go over them every even day of the month. I will do a scout of the day, and today we did Jeremiah Fears. And he looks pretty good. Oklahoma guard that can lob, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's see. Mike's laughing. There's his LUL. Let's talk about. G saying, I knew Scoot was going to be bad. Watching him in G League, couldn't score well in G League and doesn't have IQ or height, just some athleticism. Yeah, he's just a stud. He looks weird. He's like an anomaly. In some ways, you could call him a basketball freak. And in some ways, that's not conducive to being a good basketball player, though. Michael Jordan knew. Michael Jordan's like, man, don't draft this guy. Draft Brandon Miller. Just trust me. Don't draft this guy. I know. I knew because I seen him in 905 game get thrown out in just really dumb way because he just he was just so stupid. I was like, man, this guy's really dumb. I can tell because he just got thrown out over the stupidest shit in a 905 game in the G League. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Just crazy. Mike's saying if you get a top 5 pick, you need to get someone. Yeah, we do. We will. And I trust in Bobby Masai. And I think we will be a top 5 pick. I hope so. We're a bottom 5 team. I hope we're getting a top 5 pick. I hope so. We'll have to see. Cool Cat saying Vladdy and the Blue Jays avoid arbitration and sign a 1-year deal. No extension as yet. Yeah, I kind of heard that in the grapevine. Y'all were saying that they weren't coming correct with Vladdy or something. I'm not paying attention to this, Cool Cat. I can't. In some ways, the dysfunction and the weirdness with the Blue Jays, it's too much with the Raptors. And I got to just handle the Raptors kit and caboodle and not worry about Vladimir Guerrero and the Blue Jays and what's going on with their team at all. I'm happy if Vlad's here forever because I do really see him as the franchise player for the Blue Jays right now. And I want him to be happy. And I want the GM of the Blue Jays to build a good team around Guerrero Jr. and give him all the tools to be successful to get a World Series. That's what I want. Get a World Series championship. That's what I want. Mike saying missing on a top 5 pick is actually destroying a lot of revenue attached to that player in that tier. Missing on a top 5 pick is actually destroying a lot of revenue attached to that player in that tier. Yeah, this is why it's really important to get a very high draft pick right. It's not just like, oh, you get the opportunity to draft a very talented top level player. No, you have a risk involved in this where you're going to tie up high draft pick salary in a player, and if it doesn't hit, you're in trouble in some ways. Now, the rookie salary cap is low, so if you do miss on a player, it's not as bad as like signing a player to a huge contract and having them just horrible, like on a huge $30 million contract, because all the rookies, most of them don't make more than $10 million. So in some ways, there's a little bit of help with that. But you're right, Mike. I mean, Scoot Henderson's contract and his amount that he's getting paid for and what he's given to the Trailblazers is a fail. And it can hurt your team. It really can. It can hurt your team. That's right. G saying Cavs made Evans' job very simple. Dunks, some post moves, and now threes. He can focus on rim protection on the other end. Scotty has much more responsibility. Totally agree. Totally agree. And that's part of the problem is that in some ways, this goes against something that Darko said when he first got the job as the Raptors. He said in the NBA, you have to be good at 1 or 2 things. If you're good at 5 things, you're not in the league anymore because you have too much going on. I think that Scotty's the exception to the rule, though, that in some ways they really are making him learn everything all at once, all the time. And maybe he would be more focused and better off if they were doing things like they're treating Evan Mobley in Cleveland a little bit more. But I think in the long run, this will be worth it. And that Scotty has the strength and the aptitude and the ability to go through it, learning all of it all at once. It's just that it's going to be weird how he progresses and all of a sudden turns corners like he has, like recently. I'm telling you, the signs and the way he turns corners with progressing and getting better as an NBA player are there if you really pay attention, is what I'm talking about right now. And it's the really good mid-range right now. And the defensive commitment that he has right now is phenomenal right now. The stuff that Scotty's doing on defense is the best of his career presently right now. Right now, he's playing all out on defense, and he's a much smarter, savvier player on defense and knowing what to do and where to be at this point than ever in his career. He was young and didn't really know the NBA game. He's learning. He's getting better. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, let's see. Stargate saying at Lex, I kind of disagree with your not the boxing out take with last night's game. They were trying to box out, but when you have a long arm guys like Allen and Mobley who you can't reach out over, you know what it is? It's a combination, Stargate. First of all, Kenny Atkinson made a very concerted effort or some sort of decision last night, which was weird. They were pointing it out on the broadcast, Alvin, that he did not play Allen and Mobley together a lot of the game last night. He did not use the Twin Towers against us. He was basically leaving. He'd either have Allen or Mobley in. They were switching for each other. And that was weird because in some ways that's a strength they could have utilized that they didn't. But I think that there's some weaknesses in that combo also that he was trying to avoid. And that may be on our offensive end with running things with around them in the right way. I know it's counterintuitive, but this is what was happening last night. Now, watching the last 2 minutes of the game, the Cavs took a lot of threes. And every time you take a three, the rebound's going to be long. And what was happening is the Raptors were bodying guys, but they were going into no man's land. And one of the weaknesses of Grady Dick right now is he can get boxed out of rebounds, even though he's supposed to be the one who's boxing the other team out. He can lose the rebounding battles, especially if the other team sends two guys over near where he's trying to rebound. They'll squash him, and they'll get that rebound on an offensive rebound when Grady's supposed to get the defensive rebound and win that battle. He doesn't because he's too skinny and he's a little weaker. And they get the ball before him. That happened at the end of the game last night. If you go back and watch it, there's a rebound where Grady was supposed to get it, and he got sandwiched between two Cavs players, and they got the rebound instead, and they got another offensive chance to shoot. So, I mean, there's different parts of the game, and maybe you're remembering a part of the game that's different than what I'm remembering, but I'm remembering at the end of the game, Darius Garland and them were taking a lot of threes, either making them, and then they missed them. There were long rebounds, and we weren't tracking them and chasing them down because maybe we were inside bodying for position, but the rebound came out further. And then it's in no man's land, and Gray's trying to run and catch it, and he's sandwiched by two Cav players, and they get the ball instead. That's kind of what I was remembering seeing at the end of the game last night. But they weren't playing Mobley and Allen together in the second half at all. They were out at different times on the court. Smooth saying at Cool Cat, I'm relieved that the Blue Jays and Vlad were able to agree. I'm hoping that it bodes well for an extension. Yeah, hopefully. I don't know anything about this, so I can't talk about it. Stargate saying shorter players to either grab the ball or tap it out a teammate, but I saw them trying to box out. I'm not saying they weren't making an effort. It's just that, like I said, at the end of the game, it's ratcheted up. And in some ways, maybe the Cavs were making an even stronger effort around that time to chase down the offensive rebounds and get as many opportunities as possible. And it's just a little hard. I get it. You're completely right. The Cavs are a longer, taller team overall than us, and they do have a rebounding advantage with long arms. But at the same time, there were a couple of possessions in the last 2 minutes where they got like third and fourth chances on one possession. And that is unacceptable. That is absolutely unacceptable. And if they're boxing out and they're giving all the effort and they're still having that happen, they need to make an adjustment and change their philosophy of how they're doing that, is what I'm saying. Yeah. It's all respectful. It's all respectful. And I think that we're just doing the semantics here. It's not that we're saying anything different from each other. It's just we're looking at it a little different. And to me, it wasn't a factor as much, the long arms in the late in the game. It was more getting after the loose ball, long rebound, and hustling to go get it. And the Cavs were just quicker to go get it on some of those possessions. That's what I'll say there. Let's see. Smooth saying, Cool Cat, having to go to arbitration would have been disaster. Yeah, well, I think Vladdy is, he's got an affinity for the Blue Jays, even if it's dysfunctional and things haven't been totally smooth and not as successful as he would have liked. He doesn't have hate for the organization. In fact, I think he's a real one for it. And in some ways, a loyalty like that for the team probably worked out in this situation, is what I'm going to say on that. That's what I'll say right there. Mischief saying second round, 31 overall, 6'9", 240-pound Rasheer Fleming, 36 minutes per game. Then a bunch of stats here. I won't read them all. Efficient shooting equals less injuries. There you go. All right, Mischief. I might have to do this Fleming guy. You got to get in there before Nako. You got to get in there early to get the scout of the day on the even days of the month, because then I will see Rasheer Fleming. But today it was Jeremiah Fears. That's right. G saying Cavs have done a good job defining roles and working to their strengths. Yes. Very, very true. Times 10. Garland is only 24 and plays with poise. On our end, Barbecue is marinating much better defense, and Boucher was a spark plug. Yeah. I can't hate on this. We lost. We hate losing. Yes, we're going to win again someday. And this is the process to get back to that. We got to do something to get back there. It's a rebuild. That's right. Mike saying Jokic took years to get to MVP level, passing, triple-double forward play. takes longer than combo guard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could do that. I could see that. Gerald's saying he already did the drive, so he's already in Detroit. So you're in Detroit right now. You're just hanging out in the stateside in Michigan right now, just hanging around. So Naka's over at stateside. He's on the enemy lines already to go to the Little Caesars Arena to see the Raptors play the Detroit Pistons tomorrow. This is a trip he does sometimes. He gets in the car and drives to Detroit to see Raptors play in other arena. And I appreciate him for that. So we got Raptor Freak representation in the building tomorrow in Detroit when we play them tomorrow. That's right. There you go. G saying votes count 3 times today for All-Stars. So get your All-Star votes in for your Raptors fans, because the votes count 3 times today. That's right. Nako saying the top 3 is probably better than Fierce, but I think there's an argument for him the top 3. I mean, he didn't look bad at all. I didn't see a lot of things that he does wrong. Once again, I'm not very high on drafting point guards because I feel like we have point guards, great ones already in our team and great prospects coming up. So once again, I'd rather have a big that's skilled at the top of the draft, because that may be what we need more as rebounding and defense and stuff. So in some ways, he doesn't really fit the team need that I see as the priority. So I don't know. And he may not drop in the draft where our draft pick actually is, where it makes sense. You know, you may think he's like a mid top 10 pick, Gerald, but that may be that is not true with the experts and Masai Ujiri looking at it. And they're like, yeah, we can't pick Fears at 5. We can't. He's like a 15th pick. I don't know. We'll have to find out and see how it all goes. I do like him though. He is my number 1 point guard draft pick right now. Jeremiah Fears, number 1 point guard draft pick for sure. He's got the size and he's got the skills, man. Carlos saying, aside from the last couple possessions, wasn't Scotty Kawhi-esque last night? Yeah. I'm telling you that it's even the mannerisms, like the way his shot form is very Kawhi-like. Like in itself, the way that the release is off his hands, the way it acts off of his off shooting hand, and the spin, and the rotation, and the arc, and the way it goes through the net, and how it's like very measured. And the great thing is he's doing it from all different spots. Like he's very good at zoning in, and it's very money. That's very Kawhi-esque, very very Kawhi-esque. Kaloy, I'm gonna give you a dunk because I agree with this. I saw you saying that last night in the chat too. I saw you saying that in the chat. So where's Carlo JS? We got to get him another dunk. 6 points for you this year. 2nd dunk of the year. We're giving 3-pointers this year. That's right. Stargate saying after Ace, Dylan, and Cooper, it's a toss-up between, I'm not in particular order, Igor, Fears, and Kasparis as the next 3 on the board. In my opinion, Common is a little further down, like 9th or 10th. That's where I saw Malak. I saw Malak at 11 on the ESPN mock draft. The last one I saw. That's where I saw him at 11. Yeah, okay. So Fears is in that next 3 after the top 3, in your opinion. Interesting. G saying, Carlo, even Kawhi in his early years would bounce the ball off his feet, etc. at times. It's like watching a mini Kawhi to me too at times. Yeah, I mean the similarities are there. I mean, you can see him in body type and like his wingspan and his hands are giant like Kawhi's. You know, there's a lot of similarities to Scotty Barnes and Kawhi Leonard. Some people in this league don't want to see them. That's fine. They can go ahead and not see them. They'll see them in reality on the court when he kicks their team's ass. Because that's the thing. He's also very much a two-way player. That's the thing about Kawhi. Kawhi is both ends, excellence at both ends, and that's part of what carried us to our championship in 2019. Well, Scotty is that same kind of player, and Ulrich might be too. We just have to see if Ulrich has any kind of offensive chops down the road when he's starting to get to that point. He's definitely got the defensive chops. We just don't know if he's got the offensive chops. Carlos saying, exactly, G. Scotty's putting it all together. And then on his post-pressure, his comments on how the game is played is really insightful. I'm bullish on our main man. No, he's got it. He's really, really mature with the press. He used to hate talking to the press. I remember on Twitch, he'd complain about it. He'd ask for pointers on how to talk the press more confidently. Well, he's not like that anymore. It's like a night and day. He can talk to the press and it doesn't bother him. He doesn't get annoyed. He's very, very well versed in how to handle the press in a calm way. And in matter of fact, and he's saying all the right things. He's saying all the right things you want to hear from a franchise face. If you go watch his post-game interviews recently, you guys will see what I'm talking about. You'll see what I'm talking about. He's bought in with his coach. He loves his teammates. He believes in the project. He's not in this place where he's like, yeah, I'm wasting my time in Toronto. No, he knows what's going on. He's building towards something with them, and he understands that that's the assignment. That's the best important thing. He's not getting jaded. He's not getting distant. He's locked in. He's truly being that center of the attention of the team and being a good leader for everybody. And that's the thing I like right there. That's the thing I like right there. Smooth saying, being reported online that the Raptors, the Lakers are engaged in trade. Bruce Brown to the Lakers for Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent. This is not fan speculation, but an NBA insider. This might have legitimacy. I mean, it's a great deal for Toronto. That'd be a fantastic deal for us. Gabe Vincent is a very sound backup point guard in this league. He's got dog in him. He's got a former Heat culture in his resume. And yeah, it's interesting he didn't work out in the Lakers as well as he could have. In some ways, he may be kind of in a weird place with injuries and not totally fully healthy. But we'll have to see what's going on with him. Rui Hachimura is an absolute amazing addition. This is really, if the Lakers do this, is really to fix their salary cap for the summer and trying to have some money to make a big deal so that they can make something happen by Bruce coming off the books. I could see this happening, seriously. Even if some people looking from the outside are like, what? That doesn't make any sense. That's not worth that. And everybody will say Masai fleeced the Lakers. Everybody will say that. But then in a way, the Lakers are going to get the cap adjustment in the summer. And that's their reasoning for why they do it. I can see this happening. And I like that it's legitimate. You're saying it's coming from a reliable NBA source. Interesting. Carlos saying Bruce didn't play last night. And look, behold, the bench played better. Yeah, you're spitting facts, man. You're spitting facts. I can't disagree with that at all. G saying, why would the Lakers give up Roy? I would take that, though. It may be that maybe he's not fitting on the down low. You know how the Lakers are, G. They'll try out somebody for like 2 or 3 years, and there's no loyalty to them. They'll ship them off to Brooklyn like D'Angelo over and over again. This is how they are. They like to boomerang people around. They would want Dennis Schroeder come back, and then they cut him and get rid of him again. I don't know. It's just like that. Maybe they tried Rui for a while with them, and they're like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you aren't fitting exactly right. Maybe it's salary concerns with what he's going to be needing to be paid. And they there could be all kinds of different reasons on the inside why. Smith saying, apparently the Lakers want a secondary ball handler and cutter, and Brown fits that bill. There you go. And maybe it fits exactly what they want right now. And it also fits the expiring $23 million coming off the salary cap. That's a big thing right there. That's what's attractive about Bruce. It's not him playing in some ways. It's the salary cap downgrade that you get in the summer, that you actually get a bunch of money handed to you to spend on the free agency. That's what I'm saying. That's right. Carlos saying, wasn't Rui playing well for the Lakers? He has played well for them. He's fit in very well. He's been a solid kind of rebounder and pretty good big defender. And that's why I would love him coming to the Raptors, because he would help us up front immensely. And he may even battle for a starting job. He may increase some of our guys having to play even better, because he may be warranting to be able to start. And he would be really interesting starting, because he would be a 4 and Scotty would have to get slotted at a different position. Now, that may be part of the problem, is what we were saying earlier. We'd like to see Scotty do more for us work and be down there. Maybe Roy gets in the way. I don't know. Or maybe he's just a bench big that comes in and he's a more solid, bigger rebounder than what we've got currently coming off the bench, other than like skinny Chris Boucher. In some ways he could be that possibly. I don't know. That's interesting. Nako's saying, try to trade Gabe somewhere, and yeah, let's do it. All right. He's signing off on it, Bobby Webster. So yeah, Raptor Freaks are saying, if you got this deal, Bobby, on the table and the Lakers are willing to do it, go ahead and fire away. Because we ain't wasting more time with this Cowboy, man. Seriously, come on, man. Do something with him. Cut off. That's right. I got 12 minutes. Let's see if I can do this all in the last 12 minutes. We got to do the classic card still. Smooth saying, Carlo, they want to get off the contract, get more flexibility. Yep. And Carlos saying, Scotty focusing on defense and middies with occasional threes is the formula. Yeah, I like that mix. Block shots, steals on one end. And start from the inside, work your way out, and start making those threes eventually. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Stargate said I would love Rui Hachimura here. I would too. I like him. He's a cool player. He's a very cool player. He's got undervalued size. He does. He has some underrated size, is what I'm saying. Yeah. And Stargate saying Gabe too. Wow, if Bobby Masai pulled this off, it may be that's the two players that match the money to do it, and that's why. That's why. Mike's saying Roy is like old Norm. Old Norm. Why did that come up like that? He's in the clouds at times, and Gabe Vincent has been hurt like all last year and just got back. That's what I'm saying. Gabe Vincent's barely played for them. And maybe they're just like, yeah, let's not worry about this. We're kind of looking forward. We may need to start thinking about post LeBron and freeing up salary cap because we're going to have to get ready to do some stuff when LeBron is going to leave in the next 2 years or so. You got to start thinking about that. That's right. Smooth saying the Lakers refuse to trade Austin Reeves. Roy Hachimura is their one tradable asset. Yeah, that's probably part of it too. They value Reeves over Roy, and that's why they'll part with Roy over Austin. That totally makes sense right there. And even if I don't totally value Austin Reeves as highly as they do. Mike's saying Roy and Gabe are bench pieces, in my opinion. Bench pieces for us. Yeah. They've started Roy Hachimura pretty steadily in the last 2 years in Lakerland. That's right. He's been starting for the most part. Oh, let me see. All right. Let's do the classic cards since we are at the end of the chat here with the comments. Once again, these are current cards. They're not very classic because my niece and nephew gave me awesome cards for Christmas, and I want to honor them by putting them on the show one by one over the days. So let's see. This one you guys got to be quick on. It's a very easy one once again. We've had very easy ones. I mean, there's good cards in these. And, well, this is another one. Let's see who can get it. First full name answer, you get this one. We've had this guy quite a bit in different times, but we got him again today on the brand new card. And if you like this card, you can get it from me at the Valley Suns Raptors 905 G League game on January the 19th. I'll be going to that game in person, and I will meet up with any Raptor freaks that are going to be there and watch the game with them. And I'll have these cards with me in the box, and you can have this card that's right here. It's not close enough. You guys can't see it. Is that why y'all aren't answering? Full name answer gets the classic card of the day. You can't see it? Is that too far? I got to come closer? It's not too – that's too close, man. Come on, y'all. Y'all can't see the classic card of the day? Yeah, of course, Mike. It's Kyrie Irving today. Although you put some extra N in there. Kyrie Irving. Yeah, that's Kyrie. It's a beautiful Kyrie Irving, Dallas Mavericks card. Very, very nice. So, yeah, if you like Kyrie and you want this card, I'll give it to you, man. At Valley Suns, January 19th, 2 p.m. at Paramount Fine Food Center. I'll be there around 1 o'clock. You can see me at the game and hang out with Lex in person. Smooth saying, I wanted to correct my info on Vernon Maxwell. He did the second ring with the Rockets. Okay, so you said he didn't get a ring back in the day. I remember that, but he did win a ring with the Rockets in the second time they won the Rockets. Okay. Yeah, he got it. He's been on a few podcasts over the last months. Okay, so it wasn't the thing where they said, you can't get it because you're an asshole. We hate you. And you're left in acrimony. No, they actually did give him the ring afterwards, even though there was some negativity. Okay. And that's rightfully so. You don't want to be bitter like that in some ways. This guy contributed to your championship year, and you shouldn't be like that, honestly. That's the way I think about it. Of course, Houston Freak's going to tell us what's up. Yeah, they changed their mind. That's good. That's better. And cooler heads prevail is what I would say about that. All right, I got 8 minutes. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in my tabs. Yeah, I'll give a little shine to the other side. Darius Garland, 40 points, man. 14 at 22. He's the best player in the game. He won his team the game last night. Very, very interesting. 4 of 7 from 3, 8 of 9 from free throw, 2 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, a plus 18, 40 points in 36 minutes, outscoring his minutes. Fantastic stuff. Evan Mobley at double-double, 21 points and 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Not bad. 7-11 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3. Those threes by Evan hurt, honestly. We don't need him getting threes. Jared Allen, another day at the office, 8 of 9, 18 points, 15 rebounds, double-double. Off the bench, Max Strus, 4 of 7 from 3. I knew Strus was going to be an issue. We had not seen him. He was not healthy the first time, but he came back and he played really well. Off the bench, Ty Jerome's annoying. He's just an annoying dude. He's a very, very physical, annoying player. That's for sure. Karis LeVert was pretty good on the download. 6 for 12, 18 points for him. Yeah. A good team effort by the Cavs. And, they get solid scoring, especially from Garland, getting 40 points for them. So, yeah. But I like that the Raptors got a good high-scoring total. themselves. All right, there is a game today, guys, that we got to watch later. The Raptors 905 are in Maine to play the Maine Celtics tonight. So, yeah, the referees, the crew chief is Claudia Mula, number 79. The referees, Kevin Fahey, number 42. And the umpire is Sarah Williams, number 20. If you're going to be watching that game, I'll be in the chat and on YouTube, and we can watch it and talk about the game tonight. 905, Maine Celtics, Jonathan Mobo, Jamison Battle, and Frank Kaminsky and the crew going to be playing the Maine Celtics tonight. We'll have to see if Brendan Carlson shows up, because that's the thing, man. Brendan Carlson got cut by the Thunder earlier this week, and his G League rights are still with the 905. And, well, he hasn't been signed by anybody for a two-way or any kind of other contract. We have his rights. So it's very, very likely that that big center from Utah is going to be returning to the Raptors 905 to play for them again in the very near future, because Oklahoma City got more healthy. And a very similar move to what happened with Bruno Fernando with us. He was about to get guaranteed money, and they cut him right before that deadline. And he's back in the G League pool, and he is coming back to the Raptors 905, just so y'all know. I don't know if people knew that about Brendan Carlson, that we did not lose him forever. He was rented by the Oklahoma City Thunder for a while this season. And, well, we still have the rights to him. So if he's going to continue to play professionally, he has to come play for Mississauga. And in Maine tonight is where they're playing. So, yeah, that's isn't that interesting how things turn around? When Brendan Carlson's, you guys are so mad. Oh, we lost Brendan Carlson. Well, the Raptors suck. Masai's losing it. He lost Carlson. He's so good. Motherfucker, he didn't lose Carlson. You didn't see Carlson show up. Even if it's like, do we want Carlson? That's the other thing. Thunder wanted him for a little while, rental. I mean, I don't think you guys understand like how things are in the NBA. You get a chance, and that chance has got a time limit on it. And, well, the time limit for Brendan Carlson was up until this deadline this past week, just like Bruno Fernando. You know, Eugene Omoruyi gets a 10-day contract time limit being a Raptor right now. You know, there's a time limit on everything. Not everybody's going to be a long-term project like Scotty Barnes and Gray Dick and get all the runway in the world to take off on. No, you need to go now. That's what I'm saying. And Brendan Carlson's a 905er. It's just so y'all know. Just so y'all know. That's right. That's right. Let's see. I did the Instagram stories. Happy birthday. And I got the birthdays right now, guys. Tremont Waters. Happy birthday. His birthday is January 10th. Yeah, he's turned 26 today. Puerto Rico's finest. Tremont Waters. Happy birthday to you, replacement Raptor. Yeah, and tomorrow will be Chris's birthday. I've shifted it all, and I've got it right now. It was not right earlier in the season. I was wondering why I had Jack Armstrong's birthday wrong. Well, it's because Google Calendar was all screwed up. Y'all check out the Kensington Variety VIP Club episode today. 5 years ago today, on the Kensington Variety VIP Club convenience store show, Adriana appeared on the show. It's her only appearance on the convenience store show. So if you don't watch the Kensington Variety VIP Club, but you love Adriana, you should watch the episode today because she actually appears on it today. Yeah, everybody makes appearances from time to time on that show. If you watch it regularly, you'll see regular people that are on it all the time. The regular people like Martin and Johnny from Sea Kings, but also Nako will show up on the show all the time. You'll see Gerald show up and be on the show from time to time. You see my friend Stevie Roots, the legendary Stevie Roots, who was at the Coach's Open House with us and is my longtime friend that I used to work at the Air Canada Center with. He'll show up on that show from time. So you guys got to check it out and see Adriana's little cameo appearance on the Kensington Variety VIP Club show. It's on this channel. You can find it in the video section on this YouTube channel. That's right. Yeah, see Adriana. She's so cute. And that was from 5 years ago. Today, she came to the convenience store and brought me apples and appeared on the show. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. So check that out. Seriously, y'all. Check that out. That's right. That's right. Let's see. All right, you guys filled it up a little bit more. After this, I got 2 minutes. Let's see if I can do this real quick. Let's see. Stargate saying Roy as a backup to Scotty is not bad. Gabe will have to fight for minutes with Davion and Shed. Yes, that's exactly right. Smooth saying at Stargate, if the deal goes down, Davion Mitchell is likely traded. I don't know if he's traded. He just may not be invested in later in next year. I don't know. I don't know if I prefer Mitchell or Vincent over Mitchell. I may actually prefer Mitchell over Vincent. There's no telling where Vincent is with his health and where he's at. I may prefer Mitchell over Vincent, guys, just so you know. Mike's saying Gabe is a better shooter than those two, I believe. Yeah, that might be right. That might be right, but he may not be a better defender. I don't know. We have to all see where he is with his health. That may be a sign with why part of the reason the Lakers are willing to part with him is that maybe his health is not as good and he's not showing that he's come back in the right way. We have to see that. That's the other thing we got to understand first. Yeah, Smooth saying Mitchell will be in a separate deal. I don't know. I don't know if we'll trade Mitchell. I don't know if we will. Stargate saying yes, and Gabe is not a bad on ball defender either. Okay, so you're saying he's a good ball defender. I know he was in Miami, but man, it's been a couple years. He's been in LA, and I've just not seen him. It's like he's fallen off the face of the earth, or he just doesn't get things going in there. He's been hurt too much. So yeah, yes, Mike's saying. And Carlos saying, I wish Boucher plays like this all the time, and then we wouldn't need to trade him. He does play like this all the time this year. He's been very efficient in the minutes he's gotten. Yeah, only if. Yeah. So we're saying, plus Vincent and Rui are only locked in for one more year after this. There you go. There you go. The Lakers want the flexibility this summer, not the summer after. And Carlos said, I'm convincing myself that Darko drops Chris to light a fire in him. Oh, DMP's Chris to light a fire in him. I don't think that's what it is. I think he's very upfront with him, and Chris understands. Maybe younger Chris would get pissed about DMPs, but I don't think he does at this point. He's very wise and very zen about it, and he understands he's going to get his number called at some point. And because he's so good when he does get called, he knows that he's like, yeah, you're going to have to play me because I'm playing so good. Is kind of his attitude right now. Before there was fear. There's no fear at this point. He's established. He knows who he is. He's very comfortable who he is at this point. And maybe when he's younger, he didn't know exactly who he was. Now he fit in the NBA. He does now. So there, a lot of the consternation over DMPs and the stress or the kind of self-doubt, it doesn't happen to Chris like it did when he was younger because he's confident. He understands his role. He understands what he brings. And he's just available, like Garrett Temple, to be brought in when needed. And that's the way he looks at it. I think that's the way he looks at it right now. He doesn't have to light a fire under his ass. Chris is doing it for himself at this point. Maybe Nick had to light a fire under Chris's ass, but I don't think Darko has to. I don't think he does. Now, if Chris comes out there and he shows old Chris and he's not playing and he's dogging it, maybe Darko pulls the hook and doesn't let him play for very long. In fact, there was a game earlier this week where Chris came out. There was a game a couple of weeks ago where he came out. He didn't play that well, and he did get the bench and didn't get much minutes in the second half. So, yeah. Mike's saying we might move Roy or Gabe in another trade. I don't know. Who knows? That's a speculation on top of a speculation of something that hasn't happened yet. We'll get to that level of speculation after each step of the way. So let's see if there's any teeth to this Roy Hachimura trade rumor going on right now. We'll have to see if there's any teeth to it. All right, y'all, let me get out of here. I'm a little bit over 2 hours. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. It's always a joy and a pleasure to spend a couple hours with you guys every day. I appreciate all the insight, and really, y'all have been doing a fantastic job of staying on point with the topic, and I really, really enjoy that. You know, our topics for this channel are varied. It's very much a high concentration of Raptors, for sure. We'll talk some Team Canada basketball. We'll talk some Toronto tempo. Yeah, but I love how we've been keeping it on topic really, really well in recent weeks. You guys have been awesome, and it's a two-way street, literally, because y'all's comments and me are a two-way street. So there you go. I appreciate everybody. Let's go Raptors. Let's see if the Raptors 905 can get a good win tonight against the Maine Celtics and improve their record in the regular season. They're doing pretty good so far. They're a 500 team right now. I think they're 2-2 right now. So maybe they're 3-2. I'm not totally sure. They are right around 500 or winning. So want to see this trend continue with the G League team in the regular season, Andrew Jones and them. So let's watch the game tonight, 7:30, Maine Celtics. I hope I'll see you there. And tomorrow, I'll have the preview for the Detroit Pistons game and also the reaction to this 905 game tonight. Let's go, Raptors. Y'all stay true to your team like you have been. This is tough. We're in the mud. But we can get through this together and believe in your team. We're going to come out into the sunshine side of things and winning eventually through this very, very difficult rebuild that we're doing with Coach Darko right now. All right, never give up faith and stop dumping on your team and negging on it just because they're losing. It's not helpful. Let's just put it that way, Raptors Nation. Let's go, Raptors.